What is going on, YouTube? Sticky back at it. Today we are going to be taking a look at Dark Dimension 6 global section, which I have already completed. The team I am using in Cosmic currently, and what I'm sort of eyeing up for City, but nothing set in stone there, at least not the full team. So just a bit of a retrospective on how global went, how Cosmic's currently going, and then a look into the future of my thoughts for my roster. Again, all of this is roster specific. Your goals are what modes you like outside, but just what I'm looking at and kind of my thought process around it. So starting off, global, I know we covered this in a previous video. The team I brought into global was Apocalypse, Titania, Quicksilver, Dark Beast, and Black Widow. So some initial kind of standalone thoughts on those individual characters, and I'll talk about them as a whole. Apocalypse, no-brainer. Global is actually pretty brutal, so we'll just take a look real quick. So Node 1, not too bad. I actually recall enjoying Node 1. I've been on Global for a little bit now. Took a little time to start the make this video, but Node 1, not too bad. We got through it in 3 attacks. Node, let's see here. Node 2 in Global took me 5 attacks. And then Node, where are we at? Node 3 in Global was kind of a pain. Took me 7 attacks. So actually for Global, I mean, I know these tend to get harder as you go through the section, right? Node 7 kind of reminded me of like DD3 levels of annoyance. In that if you did, at least when you did, you know, at the time it was released, levels of annoyance, I'm sure it's nothing now. But at the time, it was one of those things where you kind of logged in every day. You loaded into your node, you killed 1 or 2 people, and then you wiped. And that was kind of it. You just did that every day. That's kind of what it was like with Apocalypse here. I'd log in with, load in with Apocalypse. We'd ult, we'd basic, we'd kill 1 person outright. Maybe we get another 2, 3 if we were lucky, and then we wipe, and then we just did it all over again. So I actually really did not enjoy specifically the 3rd node in Global very much, but it is what it is. We got through it. So talking about the team, so Apocalypse is absolutely critical in the Global section. He's a huge part of this entire DD6 run. Doing any of this without him, I imagine, would just be a nightmare. I would never want to do Global without him. So S rank A++ on Apocalypse. Quicksilver was amazing. Not quite as impactful as Apocalypse, obviously, but hung out, got things done, can single target people out. Whenever I had the ultimate up, being able to spread debuffs to the entire wave was fantastic. Rewinding key characters special was excellent. So he was obviously the second MVP there. Next up is probably Titania, and Titania, just because she has some pretty solid control effects, she gets back to her abilities relatively quickly, and she survived a lot longer for me than Dark Beast and Black Widow did. So moving on to Dark Beast, I brought him knowing that he was not going to be great in here, and he totally met that expectation. He did not do a whole lot. He died relatively quickly. He just didn't do much. My thought process for this was, at least at the time, I use him in CC. I'm using him in Room 2. That team falls apart when Dark Beast dies. If Dark Beast is a little bit bigger, maybe they're going to be able to hang out around a bit. The team does significantly better against Bifrost when Dark Beast lives. And so far, I've been happy there. I think it has shored up that team, that counter, a little bit for me, at least in Room 2, and I'll take whatever I can get there. That being said, at this point, as of the recording of this video, there's 27 days left in the Cosmic Crucible season. I have no idea if we're going to get a raid room next season. I have no idea if Pegasus is going to take over, and now you wouldn't want to use Death Seed anyway. Maybe there is a raid room next season. Maybe there's not. Someone told me that they confirmed that there wasn't going to be one in CC. I have no idea if that's true. That was just kind of hearsay in my chat. That someone had confirmed it. I don't know. If you guys know for sure, you know, one of the envoys said that, let me know in the comments. I'm not aware of that, but, you know, I would love it if it wasn't there. But in any event, Dark Beast, yeah, didn't do much, but I'm glad I have him in Cosmic Crucible, at least for the time being. That being said, if you do want to bring in a mutant into this section, you know, hell, we don't even know if these guys are going to hang next raid. We might get a new raid in the next couple of months. Destiny might completely fall off. Like, you know, I don't know. This might be a terrible choice. But if you want to go for something, you want to bring a mutant into here, Obviously, you want to go Nemesis if you don't really care about CC. And I think Nemesis is a fine choice if you do care about CC. He's certainly going to speed this stuff up. All the percentage life steal and all that good stuff. Absolutely, I'm sure he could do amazing things here. Black Widow. Black Widow did not do much for me. Now, I did not have much protection on this team. So Black Widow, kind of like Dark Beast, was sort of just a warm body for me. And it was basically the Apocalypse Quicksilver show. And Titania did some things every once in a while. Black Widow just didn't live very long for me. I would be lucky on a run if I got her to pop off for special. Like, that was like probably the best thing I could hope for. A clutch stun. It just kind of rarely happened. But I think that is a product of... I would say that's a product of this team composition, because I have heard other people having much better experiences with her when they opt for a team that includes, let's say, Captain America and Peggy Carter, right? Because you got some people running interference, doing a little bit of healing. You'll have the taunt from Cap, and Black Widow can probably live longer to do more stuff for you. Gets the ability energy from Cap and all that. She can do her stuff more often and all that. So I think other people like Black Widow more than I did. I don't regret her because she was a relatively inexpensive option and skill, which I could spare. But on this team composition, she just didn't do a whole lot. But again, other people had way more success. So, I mean, in hindsight, had I changed this team composition up, I would have gotten through this much faster, for sure. That being said, I still, after I got done the global section, I was still waiting several days, maybe a week or so, I don't remember, to get into Cosmic. So ultimately for me, it didn't matter, but I might be looking at, if I have the gear to spare, maybe some supplemental options for the second run, just to speed it up a little bit, characters that I'd like to bring up anyway. I don't know, if I have some Mystic gear laying around, I might bring Weaver up. I love Weaver, and I think G18 on Weaver is amazing. And even though, she might not be the best character in DD6, anything that keeps APOC and Quicksilver alive a little bit longer, I think would certainly help in that section. But I digress. I'm not there yet. Just some initial thoughts. All right, so moving on to Cosmic. The team that I landed on was Kestrel. Kestrel was always a relatively no-brainer for me. And now it's just an absolute no-brainer after her rework with Pegasus. She's a mixture of skill and tech, which are two relatively low priority origins as far as gear goes for Dark Dimension. Not a whole lot of great characters need them, so that's an easy pick. Now that she got a rework, she is an absolute beast. Absolute monster. Kestrel crushes. She crushes in Cosmic Crucible. She does great work in Cosmic DD6. She lives relatively well. The pings from the defense downs, AoE defense down, Raider on her, setting up vulnerables for Kang and Vol. It's just been fantastic. Also, don't pay attention to these ISOs. I'm in no rush to get through Cosmic. I could fix these ISOs and give us more vulnerables. I know these ISOs are terrible. Please don't look at these. I can't get into City right now anyway, so I didn't bother changing anything for this, because it's going to take me a while to get through it anyway and get into City, so it doesn't really matter. And by the time I get through this, I'll be almost ready to go into City. But yeah, so don't pay attention to the ISOs. But anyway, Kestrel, obviously a no-brainer. Kang is incredible. Duh, one of the best characters in the game. He's also tech. He's fantastic. We're going to skip him for a second. Photon is very good. She's part of one of the best team in the game. She's also can flex into A-Force in War if War is important for you. She also has a pretty interesting kit. Specifically, I found a lot of value in her special, the AoE Blind, to save my bacon more than once. Ultimately, of all of these characters, it is all about Vol. It is all about getting vulnerables up on, number one, the special. The AoE ability block is incredible. Getting vulnerable up on exposed up on as many targets as possible. Getting your teammates to hit into that generates energy from her. The ultimate is absolutely devastating. It can swing the entire fight just like it does in Cosmic Crucible in Room 2. She pops that ult, and all of a sudden you went from a losing match to a match that you can win. It's just, she's fantastic. It's all about Vol. Second best is Kang. Then at this point, I mean, I don't know. I have a free-to-play Photon. I don't buy anything, so my Photon's a little bit lower power level. So probably Kestrel next for me. But, you know, let me know in the comments if you guys have giant photons and you're bringing these two. Between Photon and Kestrel, who do you like better? But I think either of these are excellent picks. I don't regret any portion of this team. That brings us to Stitcher. I've sort of changed my tune a little bit on DD6. Where initially, and I think I probably said as much in one of the videos, certainly in Twitch, just hanging out with the guys there. I didn't want to do something like a Stitcher, where I look back and I'm like, man, I got a G18 Stitcher. That being said, as I've thought about it, and as I've had experience fighting against Super Scrolls, and my experience in DD6 as a whole, DD6, it appears that each section is basically carried by one or two characters. And the rest of them, to a certain extent, don't really matter. Now, they don't matter is maybe a little bit strong, but like Cosmic is carried by Vol. Global is carried by Apocalypse. Like, that's your carry. That's the people, that's what's doing all the heavy lifting. You know, it's certainly much easier that I have a great supporting cast of Photon, Kang, and Kestrel here, of course. But this 5th spot, it doesn't really matter. And specifically in Cosmic, when I run this on the second go around, I'm bringing Super Scroll into here, right? Stitcher's out. I'm bringing Super Scroll into here. And Super Scroll is so impactful and so devastating in every area of the game that he's so overtuned and absurd in Cosmic Crucible, in War, in Arena, that if me bringing in a shitty character like Stitcher in here, that's luckily super cheap and tech, is gonna get me Super Scroll that much quicker, a little bit quicker, then that's worth it to me at this point in the game. I've seen what Super Scroll can do, and I'm willing to sacrifice one terrible character into here in order to get him a little bit faster, especially, you know, again, considering that on the second run, Stitcher's not coming. It's going to be Super Scroll in here, and we're just going to blow through this. So that's why I took him. I'm not happy about this, but listen, it is what it is. He's super cheap. He doesn't take much gear at all. I think he's one piece as far as the uniques go, if memory serves, for G18. And it is what it is. He is a warm body. I don't love that I did this, but I do think it was probably the smart move, given my roster and my income of G18. So your mileage may vary. As far as Cosmic goes, first node, nothing to write home about. We 2-tapped this. That was not a big deal at all. I did make a mistake here. I should have done this node in 3 attacks. I got greedy on my second attack because I was like, there's a way forward. I can clear this all in one shot. Or, you know, one on my second attempt all the way through and not do 3 attacks. Which I did, but my cooldowns were more jacked up than I would have liked. So and you'll see in the next node what I mean. Had I done this in 3 attacks and spent that 3rd attack building up my cooldowns, I would have had a much cleaner attack on node 2. Because I got a little bit too greedy, just don't do what I did. I saved a day here on node 2 and probably lost 3 days on node. I'm sorry, I saved a day on node 1 and probably lost 3 days on node 2 here. So it doesn't let me go all the way back, but my first my first 4 attacks were just bashing my skull against that first wave. I didn't have cooldowns up. It's a mixture, I wish I could review it here, but it's a mixture of like Captain Sam's, a bunch of Pym Tech characters that heal, a Yellow Jacket that'll just smoke your team real quickly. There's a Sharon Carter there. There's a Ghost there. There's a couple Bionic Avengers guys, Hulkbusters coming to mind. Once I got some traction, it went relatively smooth. I know some people on Twitch were saying like, you know, I didn't have that much trouble in node 2, and I think it all came down to my cooldowns, me getting greedy here. I think this cost me an extra 4 days. You know, had I just slowed down node 1 a little bit, got cooldowns back up. Ultimately, again, it doesn't matter. I'm not ready to go into City anyway, but just food for thought. Once I got traction, it was relatively easy, I guess. That first wave is just kind of a serious pain in the ass. You really need to be ready to ride on that. But once I got going, you know, 3 clean attacks here on 5, 6, and 7. And we just kind of blew through it. But there's some tough stuff in that node. Specifically, what's coming to mind is the whole thing's annoying, but the Captain Sam, it's like almost impossible for Vol to land anything. Exposed ability block. He gets speed up, and the team, you know, the enemy team just gets ahead of you, and they just blow the doors off you. But I got through it in 7 attacks. Should have been way less than that, but it is what it is. And I ended this with relatively good cooldowns, which was great because I'm currently in the process of hitting the 3rd node in Cosmic. And that's the one, again, I wish I could preview this for you. I could bring up the website, but it's a little bit too much right now. Anyway, this one has APOC and some Red Hulks in it. I think there's some Omega Reds. I believe an MLF later. Everyone's saying this one's been a terror, and I do believe them. That being said, I came in with clean cooldowns. I killed the vast majority of the first wave on this first attack, including the Red Hulk. I got the Apocalypse to ultimate, so I blew his cooldowns. So we'll see what the rest of the node looks like when I log back in tonight at reset. But initial attack with cooldowns up went very well. Just need to focus on getting that Apocalypse out as quickly as possible, but his ultimate's down. So that's good. He is not, if memory serves, I don't know if he's a big boy Apocalypse or not, but he's coded. He opens up with a special, just FYI. He specials, then he ults, then he basics, and I got through the special and the ultimate, so we should be able to clean him up, and then we just need to control the Red Hulks and the Omega Reds. I think there's an MLF later, but a great start to this node, and I'm very happy with the performance so far. Who knows, could fall apart in the subsequent attacks. We will see. So I would say a couple more days here, and then I will probably be good for City. So, City section. Let's take a look on what I am eyeing up right now for that section. Your mileage may vary. I'm not saying these are the best teams. I'm just saying that based on my gear, where I'm at, what my goals are, this is what I'm thinking of right now. First things first, I already have 3 characters built to gear tier 18. Big Time Spider-Man. He's tech. He was relatively inexpensive. Actually, let's drop him back. How much was he? Relatively inexpensive, right? Yeah, he's 2 pieces. Not bad. I really like Big Time Spider-Man. I like him in Cosmic Crucible. You know, the infamous counter arena video from Turkey Dad. He's got some value in arena, for now at least, you know, when you're not fighting a Super Skrull. So I like Big Time Spider-Man. He for sure was coming along for me. I like him quite a bit. Hardlight and Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes are already gear tier 18. I took them up a couple of days ago. They're, you know, 2 very important pieces of the best team in the game right now. And as far as Robbie Reyes goes, you know, of course, I haven't done the section yet, but just hearsay from when I've been talking to people, it is the Ghost Rider show. Someone said Ghost Rider did 90% of the damage for him in this section. So it's all about Ghost Rider. Again, I really think this is one of those sections, like it's kind of been for the past parts, where it's all about Apocalypse and Global. It's all about Vol. You know, to a lesser extent, the rest of the team, of course, does their job, and they help out to varying degrees. But, like, it's really all about those characters, and it would appear at this point in the game that City Section is all about Ghost Rider Robbie. So Ghost Rider's coming along. That leaves 2 open spots for me. And I am not committed to anything yet. Let me be crystal clear about that. I don't know who's coming into City here with me for the last 2 spots. But initial thoughts, and this might be a little controversial. I don't know. That's probably too strong a term. I think I might bring Ronin. Now, Ronin is not super expensive. He's kind of middle of the road, right? He's 3 pieces. The reason why I'm considering Ronin is I happen to have quite a bit of osmium. I think I'm sitting on like 67 pieces of osmium. Here, can I show it here? 64 osmium. I have quite a bit of osmium. You may not. You might have took Gambit into here. You might really want to bring up Infinity War, Iron Man. Those are all osmium characters. You know, it's a relatively tight resource. I just happen to have a lot of them. He is part of the team that is needed for the next Legendary. They are an incredible team in War with the new Avengers. And War is something that, while I don't really love War, it is super important to my alliance, and I want to do what I can to help my alliance in War. He also, while he does have I have this pulled up here, he does have very long cooldowns. Let me be clear, I don't think he's going to do great in DD6, but I think he's going to be a warm body, and I think it's going to be the Robbie Reyes show anyway. That's where I'm at, right? So, like, I'm just going to try to get some value out of a skill character that is going to have use for me outside of this for a Legendary unlock and all that stuff. I don't think he's going to do great in DD6. The reason for that is he has very long cooldowns, and I think he gets a lot of the awesome stuff you know, from the remainder of the team. The team really works together well with some synergy there, and on his own, you know, he's just not going to perform that well, but I don't really care about that. I'm just trying to get some value elsewhere. Now, one incidental bonus to Ronin is if I get to use his ultimate or his special, that's additional bleeds that's going to speed up our power player, Ghost Rider, from his passive. So, as of right now, I'm probably going to bring him Ronin. I also can spare the skill gear. I almost have enough to bring him up. But your mileage may vary. I totally understand why someone would not want to do that. You don't have the osmium. You don't care about rushing the next legendary. You don't care about war. Whatever. There's any number of reasons why you would not bring Ronin in here. And I totally get that. I'm eyeballing him up right now. I'm penciling him in for me, my roster, where I'm at, what my goals are. That leaves the final spot. And I'm kind of torn on this. So I think a lot of it is going to come down to what I happen to have, just RNG Gear Tier 18 pools, because I don't really care about this spot too much. I think this is just probably going to be some dead weight that gets carried along. So it probably depends on where my gear falls. I will say that a few good choices that stick out. I think 2099 is reasonable, bearing in mind that when you get through the first run, you're probably going to want to bring Scroll up as quickly as you possibly can. So depending on how much bio gear you have, you may or may not want to bring a bio character here just to make sure that you're primed up for Scroll, even though you do get some stuff in the first run of DD6. I don't know exactly how much of that you get, but Scroll is expensive, so make sure you're in a position to bring him up as quickly as possible. Noir I believe he does some bleeds, but if you're going to use Mystic Gear, and I don't plan on doing it, I would probably rather have Mr. Negative. So I think Mr. Negative's an option. So like 2099, Noir kind of to a lesser extent. Negative I think is fine if you can spare the Mystic Gear. I don't believe that I can. I'm pretty short after bringing up Hardlight and Dark Beast. I really wanted to bring Firestar. I think she would have been a great fifth spot here. And I love the new Warriors, but I'm real low on Mutant Gear right now. So that's not going to work well for me. I think if you have I'm not really using Shang-Chi that much anywhere, but I think if you have extra skill gear, I think he is a decent pick who still has some value. I'm just not using him that much really anywhere anymore. He's a great character, but he has kind of, been power crapped quite a bit. I think Spider-Woman is interesting. If you can spare the bio gear, A-Force is a great team. Spider-Woman's a good character. I don't think she's a bad pick at all. And then aside from that, I mean, I guess if you're rolling in Mystic Gear, you could go Cloak. That just seems crazy expensive for me. I don't know. Right now, I'm probably going to do 2099. I don't love the idea of having him bigger than Weaver. But right now, I'm not using Doom with Tangled Web like I was in the past in CC. And who knows what the next season of Cosmic Crucible, the room rules are going to be. I don't know. So who knows? And I'm actually good on the bio gear. I have a decent amount of bio gear right now. So right now, I'm eyeing up 2099 from here. I don't expect him to do much of anything. Just be a fifth. So I can actually start the section. But subject to change. I'm not there yet. And my gear may fall in such a way that I can bring someone else by the time I get there. But we're moving pretty quick through Cosmic, so I don't know. I might just go with this just to get some progression. That being said, I'm not really in a rush for City because the only two legendaries that I have built to G18 are Black Cat and Nova. And I'm very happy with both of those. And I have 3 more spots. And the problem with those spots is there's really not good characters to take in there. Now, ideally, you would bring in, so this is non-horseman legendary and then legendary or apocalypse. Ideally, APOC is going to be one of the characters here. Let's go ahead and drop him in. Ideally, you would bring in 3 non-horsemen here so that you could get double value, right? Bring in 3 non-horsemen here. And then 2 of those, the best 2 of those 3, you bring into legendary or apocalypse. That's probably the fastest, not probably, that's going to be the fastest way to get through this. So that's sort of my plan at the moment. The problem is there's not really any great picks here. So depending on where I'm at as far as mutant gear, I think your best option is going to be Omega Red. I would say as far as just value, generally speaking, for the characters. We'll see how my mutant's sitting at that point. I need quite a bit of it at the moment, so I don't know. But Omega Red, I think, is an easy choice here. And then you just have a bunch of duds. I mean, you really have a bunch of duds. Like, none of these characters are good. They're just not at this point in the game. I mean, Phoenix, she dies. She does some percentile damage. Where are you guys using Phoenix outside of, you know, the seasonal? Maybe you drop her into room 5, I think it is, for the seasonal Cosmic Crucible right now. She's just not good. The rest of these are duds. Maybe if I happen to have a ton of tech gear, Doc Ock is a possibility. But he's super expensive. Who knows though? Maybe we'll get the Green Goblin legendary that's been rumored, and Doc Ock gets a rework and he becomes better. I don't know. Right now we're just kind of hopes and dreams. You know, who knows what everything's going to look like in a while. Maybe by the time I get here, the next legendary will be announced and I will plan my team here around that next legendary. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. I will say initially I was planning on taking Sylvie into Cosmic for value in room 2 of Cosmic Crucible, but because we're coming down to the end, there's only a couple tournaments left by the time I got to Cosmic, and I don't know if that room, I certainly hope it's not, don't know if that room's coming back next season. I opted not to bring her and save on Mystic Gear to speed up Robbie Reyes' progression, so I think I kind of missed the boat a bit on the Sylvie thing with Cosmic Crucible coming to the end. But that is all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Just kind of spitballing here. You know, my thoughts, what's working, what's not. I don't really have any major regrets here because I got through it pretty quick. Second run, if I can bring Spider Weaver up, I think she'd really sure up this global section quite a bit, you know. I don't know. And then Skrull's coming to Cosmic, all that good stuff. And then hopefully by then we'll have some better legendaries. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think my choices were stupid? Do you have any different suggestions? I'm open to anything and everything. Let me know who you brought in to Cosmic and City and what your plans are from Legendary, or if you already got through it, who you brought, how they performed, and if you enjoyed them. What do you guys think about Ronan and City? You think this tracks my mentality on bringing him in and getting some value elsewhere, or do you think that's a stupid decision? Again, knowing that he's not going to do great in the section itself, but more value outside of that. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Link to everything in the description. See you in the next one. Stay sticky. Bye.